want them to know about phishing. I want them to know how to defend against phishing. I don't want them to know about malicious websites or brute force passwords. I want them to know how to defend against that.
Insider threat, I think, is a necessity today, especially as our landscape has shifted. As individuals move roles and move out of organizations, it's unfortunate, but as they're backing things up, whether maliciously or unintentionally, they will back things up. So it's important to have the insider threat program. It's important to have data and telemetry, again, to the things that you care about. And the data point goes back to your incident metrics. So I like to break our incident metrics down in a few different levels, and then have a taxonomy that couples to it, where I have the ability to see where are we seeing problems. The easiest way, I think, for an organization of my size, about 300,000 people, for me to deal with it is, as I see a trend, I want to put a preventative control in. I don't want to be passively monitoring. I also don't want to create a process for our SOC or for the supervisors of those individuals to have to review every single document that's going out. So we try and figure out the right balance based on the data classification as a way to protect those specific assets. And if I just make it so people can't move it outside of the walls of Cognizant, it becomes somewhat of a moot point. And I would say this kind of rolls into the same thing that we're seeing, on the SolarWinds piece as far as data theft. If you make it so data is controlled and it's segmented as to where it can move, you somewhat mitigate some of these threats as well. So insider threat, a really, really important thing. My describing it sounds perhaps maybe easy. It is not an easy thing to implement. There are laws, there are regulations, there's a change control and culture that often gets impacted in an organization where people say, well, what do you mean I can't back up to USB? I've always backed up to USB. It's so much easier backing up to USB. Well, as we practitioners know, speed and convenience doesn't equal security. And our job is, to protect the assets of an organization. So it is an important piece, a very, very critical and important piece.
We found we just had to revisit a lot of times with folks, how their activity was impacting the organization, why it was out of scope for a policy, or it violated a policy. And 99% of them were like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. And, we pulled the data back. We were able to verify that. We'd clean it up, right? And it's work, right? And it's work that a lot of times a lot of people don't want to do. But and then you handle that other 1, 2, 3% that is intentional and nefarious in a very different way.
I try to teach my people how to defend against these attacks and how to defend against the malicious attacks coming into the organization. I don't want them to just know about it. I don't want them to know about phishing. I want them to know how to defend against phishing. I don't want them to know about malicious websites or brute force passwords. I want them to know how to defend against that. So that said, you're always going to have that situation where someone does not follow the training, or they forget it, or it's not top of their mind and they click on something. And you need to have those security controls in place to help prevent some of the bad things from happening just because they clicked it. I know about 4 or 5 years ago, there was this big push for security personnel, CISOs and security professionals, to stop saying no. They were the no department. You can't do this, you can't do that. And so they push kind of back the pendulum to say, yes, we can, we'll help you do that. We'll just figure out a way and all this other. And, I kind of come in the middle. I think there are times when, the security professionals in the organizations need to say, no, you can't do this. And then sometimes you say, yes, you can do this, but a slightly different way. There are different things there that, you can't put yourself into one mode of thinking. And in this particular case, I think it's exactly the same. You can't put yourself into, you only focus on the defense awareness training or privacy awareness training. You have to do both. You have to do the privacy awareness training and the security controls.